there might not be any salmon because we're not all taking care of it.
People of this territory for having us here, and as well the ancestors who are also in present with us today. The people, whenever they greeted one another, that's what they would do. They would welcome you to their territory, and the canoes would pull up, and that song, the songs that we're singing, would be being sung on the canoe. It would be a travel song. The people on shore would sing their welcome song, and they would invite the people to come ashore. We would like to welcome you all here, and we thank each and every one of you for coming out today.
Osiam Siaya, Sila Sisla, Chol Kilsqui, Ukchuapel. I come here today and saying a lot of things. I spent a lot of time on the river, knowing the power and the life that it gives to us as a nation. And I have to say that unselfishly for the nation of all the people throughout our tributary of the sacred water, the sacred spirit of that water. A lot of people don't know what this is. They think it might be used to hurt someone. It probably can. That's what our people used to use and still use today, to be able to put the stachwe and the tachil onto it, to be able to cook it. So I want to share a little bit of that because it's empty. It's empty for a reason, and that's why we're here today, and that's the message that I got going to the river last night. There might not be any salmon because we're not all taking care of it. We can go like this and point the finger at a lot of people, whether you're in a leadership position or not, but what we're doing and how we need to do things can address many of the things that are harming our salmon, including all these fish farms. The understanding that we need to have as a people, we need to step past this government of Canada. We need to bring these issues directly to the UN and have them address this inadequacy that's not being addressed properly for our people. Our people. They're harming our salmon. They're harming the livelihood of our nation because it's empty.
I'm from Washington State, and we have been moved throughout the U.S. From the work that has been done by people in B.C. for so many years. For the past 15 years, Wild Fish Conservancy has been working. I work for the Wild Fish Conservancy, and I have a couple of my staff here. We have 19 staff, different scientific disciplines. And we have been working in BC and the US on Atlantic salmon net pen issues without a lot of success. And then we had a turning point, August 19th, 2017. The Cypress Island Atlantic salmon net pen collapsed. 260,000 Atlantic salmon went into the Salish Sea. Many people in Washington didn't even know we had net pens until then. And it woke the people of Washington. Before that, we knew that California had banned all Atlantic salmon net pens. Oregon had removed all the Atlantic salmon from their state. Alaska had banned Atlantic salmon net pens. That's fighting words in Alaska to talk about Atlantic salmon. Although Washington had not. We had them in Washington. And unfortunately also, we've had them in British Columbia. But after the spill of August 19th, 2017, 260,000 Atlantic salmon went into the Salish Sea. The public of Washington didn't even realize we had Atlantic salmon net pens, and they became furious. They knew from what you had been doing how bad Atlantic salmon net pens were, but unfortunately, even our work from living there, we had not shared the message properly. But the message moved quickly. We also helped spread the message by sampling many of the fish from that spill. So happens that's exactly where the eggs that come to Washington that raise the Atlantic salmon that are planted into Puget Sound. We imported eggs from Iceland, and we imported a virus from Iceland, and it is a very damaging virus. And that was a smoking gun that I think really stimulated the public, and they went to their legislators. 2017, our state legislators put together a bill, House Bill 2957. This was a phase-out bill. February 14th, 2017, the House passed this bill. The last time I saw Eddie and you guys, I was up here, which was March 2nd, 2017. We were leaving, we were driving down I-5 with my staff in the dark, listening to this hearing down in Washington. There was an incredible legislative fight over passing it in the Senate, which was the last step within the legislation. That night, the legislature passed this bill, so all it had to do was be signed by the governor. We were on our way to removing Atlantic salmon nip pens from Washington. 20 days later, March 22nd, Governor Inslee signed the bill into law. Yay! Atlantic salmon net pens will be gone within 4 years. This was a major turning point. This was a victory, but I cannot describe this victory enough in our gratitude for you, because it was not Washington's victory. It was not the US's victory. This is a victory for the whole coast. We stood on the shoulders of others that had come before us. We learned from everything you guys have been doing for years. This was, we had been doing science, but the majority of the science and the advocacy and the prayers and the protests, we learned from you in BC. So we stood on your shoulders, we learned from you, and you made it happen. I thank you very much. We now have Washington that is going to be free of Atlantic salmon net pens. We have a chain that is broken. We have one link to free wild salmon, have a coast-wide wild salmon free zone for Atlantic salmon net pens. And I believe if we work in solidarity, we will be able to do this. We will be able to turn the tide if we work together. Let's turn the tide, Eddie. If we work together, let's turn the tide. Turn it. There we go. We can do it. We can do it. Our Department of Fish and Wildlife recognizes the harm that these pens cause. March 19th, a week ago, 2018, Department of Fish and Wildlife said that the Atlantic salmon net pen hatchery could not plant 800,000 Atlantic salmon in the existing net pens before they leave Washington. Stopping this, we need to keep this momentum going.
Absolutely.
It's going to embarrass your legislators, your representatives. We all need to say, we need to fix the last link in this chain. I know we can do it, and I'm honored to be here. Let's work together. Thank you. We need to keep this momentum going.